Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our preliminary budget meeting, and we will begin with a roll call.
You know, Mr. D'Amelio is on his way. I spoke to him. Mrs. Hall?
Here.
Mr. Siegel? Here. Mr. Holmes?
Here.
Mr. McGarity?
Here.
Mr. Connell? Here. Mr. Wexler?
Here.
Mr. Heilman?
Here.
And Mr. Oliva.
Here. All right, let's start out with Citizens Forum. Oh, Pledge Allegiance, I'm sorry.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, I see it was crossed out, sorry. That's why. No, I just messed up. All right. All right, now we'll do Citizens Forum. Is there anyone who would like to speak on the budget?
No, I didn't.
There being none, we will begin. Larry?
Well, I think we
Larry?
Right, I presented,
Yep.
and then Larry.
Number
will
3, you
take
can just
over.
read the motion.
Yes. Mr. President,
Commissioner Holmes?
Mr. President, I move that we adopt as an ordinance our 2015 budget. That will include the preliminary general fund, sewer fund, and capital fund budget, including all taxes, fees, service charges, and other revenue sources provided within all funds for 2015.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Larry, you want to start the presentation?
Certainly. I appreciate it. And before I forget, before I begin, actually, I'd like to apologize to the board and to the public for my appearance. It's I'm growing my yearly beard as I prepare for my trip next week to western part of Pennsylvania, where there's no phones, no internet, no email.
We'll find you.
I'll give you the directions. But thank you. And again, I normally grow the beard this time of year just for a few weeks. But the preparation of the township's annual budget, again, is unquestionably one of the most important responsibilities I have as a township manager. The budget is our business plan and outlines the priorities and the financial resources that we carry out to carry out our township's mission. The opening slide to this presentation validates the actions that this board and the administrative staff has done in the past 8 years. We have truly gone above and beyond to look for ways to cut the budget. We have taken this community out of the dark ages, and we're successful by making our government smaller and at the same time growing our fund balance. 8 years ago, we had no fund balance, no audits, for several consecutive years, no operational or financial policies, no financial ratings, no payroll system, no method to monitor fuel utilization, no network system with sporadic standalone computers, despite paying contractors over $75,000 per year. We've had multiple phone systems, and I can go on for hours. It's absolutely amazing that we were able to function as a township. Today, all that has been corrected, and we're able to address all these issues while reducing over $5 million in tax dollars. And then this evening, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, management, and the entire township staff, I am pleased to present this document to the community and to this board. Like previous years, this budget represents a continuation of the Board of Commissioners' commitment to building and investing in a high-quality community that effectively provides for a broad range of public health, police, EMS, and fire and community services. It maintains the township's roads, parks, and infrastructure. We protect our natural environment. We become more green-friendly. We continue with residents and businesses to help grow and develop. And we maintain a vibrant set of recreational assets and services for our residents for them to enjoy. Like other years, the budget process began in the beginning of August of 2014 and is a product of many hours of work by township staff, our department heads, and division and managers. The Director of Finance and I identified constraints to consider in evaluating the budget request and continue with a conservative budget strategy for the upcoming year. What is abundantly clear is all of us share the overall objective and joint desire to keep the tax increase in check while maintaining high-quality municipal services for our residents. During the past 3 months in particular, a very rigorous effort was undertaken by myself and the Director of Finance to identify options for revenue generation, coupled with expenditure and minor service reduction opportunities. In addition to the redesign on how we provide emergency services, we will continue to work closely with our neighboring communities such as Marple Township on future cost reduction initiatives that would benefit both communities. I'm proud to say that we've made numerous and very significant changes to the operations of this township, and we've saved, again, millions of dollars. With the community makeup of ours, we have little to no means of obtaining revenues other than increasing our taxes. As this board knows very well, management has changed the way we do business here in Haverford Township. Haverford, Marple, and now Upper Darby are sharing resources and equipment. Specifically, Upper Darby has joined our brine operation program, which is very promising. In the past few years, we have eliminated, again, over $5 million from our operating expenses, over $2 million in salaries and benefits by eliminating 19 full-time positions and 9 part-time positions. We have truly lowered or reduced government and improved our fund balance. Due to health care reform impact on communities throughout the United States, we'll also be saving thousands of dollars by reducing our part-time employees' hours. And we'll explain that as I go on later on in the program. We've consolidated services such as our 911 system, our leaf collection programs with neighboring communities, the Fire Marshal's Office, Emergency Management, Codes Department, Emergency Medical Services, Health and Human Services. We've also increased employee contributions towards their medical and pension contributions. We've also eliminated the defined pension program for all new hires. Employees are paying more towards their pension and health care costs now. Haverford Township continues to be one of the largest communities in the Commonwealth. Currently, we maintain over 165 miles of roads, 149 miles of sanitary lines, 200 miles of storm lines, and over 2,200 storm inlets. Each and every day, our management staff evaluates every service and determines the future of these programs. The proposed budget before you this evening represents the most cost-effective operating plan to effectively provide for essential services to our residents. The Township's 2015 proposed budget of $39,595,906 includes a proposed 2.81% tax increase, increasing our mills from 7.34 to 7.540. Using an approximate median assessment of $143,335, the budget increase would equate to a $30 per household increase. Almost the entire budget increase of $675,998 can be attributed to 2 major cost drivers: contractual wage net increase and the increase in the annual debt service. However, the total increase that would have been required has been greatly mitigated by the savings generated by the structural staffing changes within the township. Contractual wage net increase will raise our expenditures by $262,853. Additionally, the structure of the 2013 bond called for principal payments to begin this year in 2015. That will have a $220,000 impact. Plus, the debt service related to the pending first wave borrowing for the new municipal services building will also begin in 2015, which will have a $530,000 budget impact. This increase in debt service alone could have required a real estate tax of 3% in 2015 before any of the operational increases were even factored in. So now I'll get down to some of the nitty-gritty. What you have before you on this particular side is obviously our projected 2015 general fund revenues. You'll see, obviously, we are looking at a 4% increase there relating to real estate, which is, again, by cutting some of the expenses, addresses that. We have local enabling tax But the big one that I want to point out here in departmental earnings, you're going to see that there's a significant change in the departmental earnings. That's mostly relating to the emergency medical services. As you recall, we've made a big change in the way we provide emergency medical services here for Haverford Township that went into effect November of this year, November the 1st. And therefore, you will see less monies coming in, and I'll go over that in more detail when we get into the expenditure portion. But we have a reduction, I believe, of approximately close to $1 million in EMS alone. From when that's specifically when Lanark and Manoa ambulance companies would pay the township back for their portion of the cost for their employees. You'll see that we. Sorry.
As long as we're on that topic, it just is worth noting that as a general fund expenditure, our EMS is going down by almost 1.4 million.
Yes, but again, as we get closer, when we get into the actual expenditures, they're really, I want everyone to realize that the actual savings is only roughly $435,000. But that was a big impact. Well, it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of money, but again, it's a big change. And again, as my opening statements, we have changed the way we're doing business here in the township, constantly looking outside the box, sharing ideas, and not being afraid to implement. And I learned a long time ago, if you get into a management position, if you're afraid to make a decision because you're going to make a wrong decision, you shouldn't be in management. So far, we've been lucky with most of the initiatives that we implemented. We've done proper research. You'll see that there's an increase, a significant increase in the fund transfers. I just want to touch on that. Some of those fund transfers, we moved $600,000 from our sewer fund into our fund balance for 2015, approximately $100,000 in state aid that we got for our pension, and approximately $109,000 in liquid fuels that we moved into our general fund for transfers. Some of those things obviously relating to costs associated with providing the services. Again, this is just a, well, that slide doesn't do it justice, but this slide here is just basically a pie chart signifying that, again, real estate consistently in Haverford Township comprises approximately anywhere from 55 to 59%. So obviously our real estate, 59% of our real estate revenues helps us run the township, because pretty much we're a bedroom community, and communities meet up similar to Haverford Township. We have no other ways to generate revenue. And we had the general fund expenditures, and I'm going to hit on some of these. Bear with me. First one, you're looking at auxiliary functions. We have $129,000 reduction in the portion of our operations, mostly due to the reduction in our medical options. So you'll see that there is a significant drop in that portion of the budget. We have made some changes, some significant changes, the way we provide insurance coverage for retirees and other civilians that were on our insurance plan that probably shouldn't have been on there. And this was discussed obviously in executive session relating to human resources. So it's actually significantly reduced our operational expenses there. We had a slight increase in the library subsidy of $32,000, which represents approximately a 3% increase. We haven't addressed any of the library's concerns in a while. Also, in auxiliary functions, you will see that there is a $10,000 increase under emergency management. That specifically is relating to us addressing more of the intersections along our major roads. We have made, with the Police Department, Public Works, we've made some pretty significant advances. Right now, every intersection, guys, you correct me if I'm wrong, every intersection along Westchester Pike. So if we have a major power failure in Haverford Township, every intersection from Township Line all the way to Westchester Pike will continue to function. We are also made some impacts on significant intersections, I believe Eagle Road and Darby Road, and I believe we're doing Eagle Road in Haverford. And so in the additional funds that I'm putting in emergency management, we're going to continue to do some more intersections, so we'll need the funds to do that. A big portion of the emergency management fund, I believe it's $25,000 total, a big portion of that also pays for our communication systems to have for the reverse 911. Cable access, pretty much cable access is very minimal. We only have one part-time employee, and we have very minor supplies for cable access for us to continue to operate our cable systems and put these meetings on YouTube as well as the cable access channel. Codes enforcement, mostly codes enforcement. Oh, I'm sorry. Codes enforcement, we have increased, most of the increases relating to, again, our non-uniform contract obligations. The employees, again, get a 3.5% increase this year. Operational expenses remain stable. The department has done a phenomenal job, and the last few years, we're actually seeing an increase in the number of inspections that the department does. The codes department in the last 2 years have done more fire inspections that the township has had in the last 10 years combined. So they've done a phenomenal job. And we're projected this year in that particular department to receive an additional $400,000 from permits and inspections. A lot of that has to do with people are doing more to their homes rather than moving, but they're actually investing in their homes and getting more work done. Debt service and principal. Again, this year, we'll see that just for the bonds, that has an impact of approximately $735,000. So that's where you'll see the increase in interest and principal. Emergency medical services, you'll see there's a big decrease. Again, if you take the monies, the funds that we're saving from revenue compared to the operational expenses right now, it's actually a savings of $436,647. So it's still a substantial savings. Again, we hit a couple bumps in the road when the new program started. Nothing major. We are very optimistic that we will continue to have a long relationship with the Penn Health System, but we won't be able to really measure the success for at least 2 years of this program. But again, this has a big, significant impact on our budget. Finance, our collections are up. Fees for professional service and our tax collections, they're up. But at the same time, we've received significant revenues from our business tax receipts. So, in fact, I think it's $260,000 over budget this year. So therefore, services to pay for our collectors are up slightly. Fire service, we maintain the same contributions to the fire service that we've been giving for the last few years. I also, before you, I said at the request of the fire chiefs, there is a vehicle replacement schedule that I put on your desk this evening. Last week, I met with Chief Millay, who currently now is still the chair of the Haverford Township Bureau of Fire. And that report they're requesting a replacement of Oakmont's ladder truck in 2015, as well as a pumper out of Oakmont Fire Company in 2017, and a pumper out of Manoa Fire Company in 2017. I will tell you that I did not put any funds in replacement of this ladder truck, as well as any of the pumpers, until 2017. I took a look at the maintenance reports and spoke to Mr. Doherty and Mr. Mariani, and the Oakmont's ladder truck is actually in very good condition. This year's maintenance expenses was approximately, it's actually below $6,000. I think the most major change they had to make to that particular truck was replacing, it was the springs on there. It was a cost of approximately $2,900. I told Chief Millay that I would put this report in front of you all. I also told Chief Millay that I did not project any capital expenditures for any fire apparatus replacement, as you will see in the your proposed budget under capital projections until 2017. To replace these two pumpers and a ladder truck, you're looking at approximately $2 million. So, under the fire budget, you will see that there is no additional expenses that are put into that budget.
All right, can I ask you a question? How old are their vehicles?
I do not know how old the pumpers are, but the aerial truck, the ladder truck, I believe, is 20 years.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It's there, well, you're right.
Well, you'll see a purchase cycle.
Sorry.
And I have to get together again with the chiefs at the next Bureau of Fire if I'm not up in the woods. But I believe, and I'm going to have to pull out my old minutes, or the minutes of the Bureau of Fire. I'm sorry.
No,
Yep.
I'm sorry. You're right.
I had asked the fire chiefs a few years ago that they would consider extending the years of life on both the pumpers and the ladder trucks. And I believe what I would recommend, that ladder trucks should be replaced every 25 years and pumpers should be replaced every 20 years. I thought that there was an agreement to that, but obviously this report is not identifying that. So I'm not sure how we would justify putting $1 million out in this, at this time, for a truck that's in good condition, or it has almost zero